Well, hello YouTube. Just wanted to do a quick video kind of highlighting the new acquisition to my fleet here. Right here is a 92 Volkswagen GTI, more commonly known as the Mark II. Just picked this up in the lower mainland of Vancouver, and basically it spent its life out there. So for the most part, the car's in fairly decent shape. Didn't see a lot of salt, so there's not a lot of rust in it. Little bit here and there, but compared to what I usually see out here, it's in really good shape. It's got a few kind of little mods on it. As you can see, it's been lowered. Added a few extra things like the roof rack and exhaust system, but it's fairly buzzy, so it probably is gonna have to change. Just a little too loud for my liking inside the car. It's got the European taillights on it, but yeah, the one thing I like about the 92s is they changed this hatch spoiler here and put a high mount brake light in the actual spoiler rather than the top of the glass. So just kind of a little cleaner look. I've had a few 92s over the years, and yeah, I've kind of grown to like it. But kind of look down the passenger side here, and car's fairly straight. Doesn't really appear it's had too many major bangs on it. It's got lots of little door dents, but you know, for a car that's 25 years old, it's in pretty decent shape. The one thing that's been added, the 92s, the base interior didn't seem to stand up too well. So this person or previous owner somewhere along the line added the Recaro interior. It's just the manual Recaro, so the bolsters aren't quite as big, but I find these ones tend to last a lot better, and you don't get as much bolster wear. The power Recaros are a little bigger, but the foam always seems to be collapsed. Right now I've kind of got the dash apart. Coming back, kind of realized that the car lost the foam in the blower motor. I think it's a little too dark in here. I don't have a light on me to kind of show you, but I've got one outside. But overall, it's got a lot of miles on it, but still runs pretty good. Came up the coke in 5th gear, no problem. So I've always liked these 8 valves for that. They always seem to have a decent pep and power. So pop the hood there and kind of give it an engine bay shot here. Nothing overly spectacular, but got a couple little goodies on it, like the strut tower brace. But yeah, the car's got decent torque and drives pretty decent. The one thing I did notice is it's got the coilovers on it, and left front corner is a little bit too low, so I'll be gotta raise that up. I think I measured it as about a 1/2 inch lower than everything else. So, but yeah, overall, this is kind of my new addition to my fleet. Basically planning on having it as my daily driver. Pretty much since I was 16, I've always had a Mark II GTI of some sort to drive around. And the first one, it was starting to get a little too rusty. And then I blew a water pump. I got it fixed, but before I actually got back on the road, I had someone vandalize it and smashed all the windows out of it. So kind of at that point, it was like, maybe it's a little too far to save. So then I picked up a 92 Golf that I used quite regularly and lent it out to someone, and they smucked a deer with it and caused quite a bit of damage. It's still fixable, but the car wasn't the greatest to begin with. So I just wanted something else to drive around and replace that with. I guess there's a spare heater box. I can kind of show you what the problem is. You got these little metal flaps here, and there's basically foam. You can just see the little remnants kind of right here. What used to be that kind of cover up these holes, and it just allows the air to kind of be trapped in there and heated up off the heater core. I don't know if you can just barely see the edge of it back there where the heater core is, and yeah, basically there's no foam. This is the stuff that it was covered with. It just over time deteriorates and falls off, and then basically the cold air in the wintertime can pass straight through into the cabin of the car, and it gets quite cold. So luckily the drive back, the coldest temperature I saw was about -10 degrees Celsius, so it wasn't unbearable, but it wasn't the most pleasant either. So, but we got it back, and yeah, I've got a few projects ahead of me, and I'm hoping to spend a little bit of time on this, kind of go through it, figure out what's wrong with it, and it's going to need an out of province inspection. And they're pretty much the same as a salvage inspection, except for they don't measure the straightness of the frame. So I'll have to go through that, and there's a pretty extensive checklist that I'll go through. Right now, coming back, I had a problem with this rear wheel here, and it had a cotter pin that was reused, and the cotter pin gave out, and bearing backed off and took the bearing out. So now I've got some issues with the backing plate and the spindle. So I think what I'll end up doing is just doing a rear disc brake conversion. Have most of the parts laying around, so just being as most of the cars that I'm driving are running rear disc, parts are more available that way than keeping it drum. So, and with enough parts being busted, it's not a lot more work to convert than it is to fix it. The other thing I'll be changing here is I'll just there's a quick little mod that I can lay this wiper down so it lays level with the back hatch, just a little cleaner look. The newer cars, that's the way they do it. I could probably make a video of that just to kind of show how that's done. It's a pretty easy, actually it's a really easy mod to do, and yeah, it does a really nice job to complement the look of the car. And then as far as other mods I'm planning on this car, mainly just get her back in running condition, and just make it a daily driver. So, but yeah, I just kind of want to show you the new car and kind of explain some of the adventures I had, why I needed the emergency toolkit that I showed in a previous video. And yeah, just kind of pretty excited. It's been a while since I've had one of these for a daily driver that I've been able to use. So, but yeah, that's my video. Just remember, comment, like, subscribe. You want to see more of this kind of stuff or more work on some of the project work I have for the plan for this car, let me know in the comments, and I will try and keep you up to date with my progress of this car. Thank you very much, and have a good one.